Do you have any idea, is ISIS really coming across our borders? Are they really infiltrating America?
Well, certainly there's a government study recently that found at least 1,000 self-identified people associated from North Africa and the Middle East that came in that have nefarious plans. Now, these are what the Border Patrol knew about that came in illegally. Likely there are many others that have come into this country and are already planted as cells ready to attack us, much like what we saw in Nice or Paris, San Bernardino, certainly Chattanooga, and then of course down in Orlando.
So protecting our borders, protecting our country. You know, North Korea has flown a satellite over us, and it passes twice a day, if I'm not mistaken. And why isn't anyone addressing this issue? Why, I don't hear either candidate talking about, and they may be, but I don't hear them talking about North Korea. And I've had men on our show that just say they wouldn't tolerate North Korea putting a satellite.
They'd shoot it down,
they're not sure if there's might be a bomb inside there.
Well, and that's true, Pastor. Well, you know, here recently we had this submarine launched ballistic missile that was successful. It probably went 500 kilometers. The way in which it was subsurface launched went toward Japan, and they destroyed it. They've had 6 nuclear tests. A South Korean official said publicly that they believe they have the miniaturization of nuclear weapons. They're capable of that. So what they have to do is standardize a warhead and put it on some of the missiles like they fired this past week. And then they could sit off the coast of California or off the East Coast, and then hundreds of miles away, launch one of these. It doesn't have to be terribly precision. They get within a mile or two of the center of a city and destroy the city. So North Korea is very much a growing threat, something that the Japanese are aware of. The Chinese grudgingly have started to acknowledge that. We need to do something, and yet, you know, a couple of years ago, if you did the Google on the internet, when I said, look, you know, next time they put one of those in a launch pad, we need to destroy it. And I got just lambasted. That was when I was sitting there with Shepard Smith on Fox News. And Shepard hasn't invited me back since I said that. But I said, look, that's the sort of thing that we have to demonstrate if we're concerned about a very serious existential threat. These people have been making progress. I spent a year on the DMZ. I saw them kill our soldiers. I know what they're capable of. They're far more capable today than they were, you know, that many years ago. This is a serious threat, and we aren't doing enough. And yes, I do believe that the candidates ought to speak out very clearly about this threat and what they would do.
Why do newscasters in this country, by majority, work harder at protecting our enemies than they do the freedom of speech in the United States of America for the church?
Wow.
Well, I suspect they think that it is well, they're politically correct, obviously, and they think that that's what the role of a journalist is, to look objective. But the reality is they're looking insane and they're looking foolish most of the time.
All right. Wow. That's powerful.